Hello, sorry I haven't filmed in a while. I've just been super busy. But today I'm gonna do my labor and delivery story. So basically I have some things written down. Basically my due date was April 7th and I did go past my due date. So when I went in on April 7th, we had an appointment. We had an appointment with my doctor and she was like, well, I don't think we're gonna let you go like more than a week and a half past your due date. So I was like, okay, great, so like next week I'm gonna get induced. That's what I was thinking in my mind, if I don't go into labor on my own. So then she sent me in that Friday for a non-stress test and everything was fine. I was having contractions close together, but I couldn't really feel them, so I was like, oh great, then I'm gonna have my baby soon. So then the next week I went in for my appointment and my doctor was like, oh yeah, well we'll try to think of a time when you can get induced. So that was a Monday. So I'm thinking, oh great, so I'm gonna go in on Wednesday and they're gonna tell me to come in that night to get induced, because before she told me no longer than a week and a half. So Wednesday comes and I go to my appointment and it was a male doctor, the only one that I didn't want. And he's like, we're gonna push you to the full 2 weeks. And I was literally so angry because I was having a rash on my stomach called the pups rash, which was severely itchy, and I just really could not take it. I was up all night, I wasn't getting any sleep, and it was just really bad. I couldn't even wear a shirt over my stomach, but I was still working this whole time. So he's like, I'm just gonna push you, I really don't want you to have a C-section. So Sunday night, come in, we're gonna insert something and it's gonna help dilate you, and that Monday will break your water. So I was like, okay, so that Monday would have been April 21st. So that Friday I go in for a non-stress test and I was having contractions, or no, that Thursday I go in for a non-stress test and I was having contractions and I lost my mucus plug, and they basically told me to go home and if I go into labor, come back. So that Friday, I guess technically Saturday, at 1 a.m. I went into the hospital and I went in for contractions, but they basically said I wasn't in active labor because my contractions were only like 5 minutes apart and they weren't doing anything to dilate my cervix. So I just stayed there, and then around 10 a.m. we went in at 2 a.m. I believe, 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. in the morning, and around 10 a.m. they gave me nubane so I could sleep because I was just having contractions. I wasn't able to sleep, and I didn't sleep that whole week because I had the pups rash and then I had the contractions, which were preventing me from sleeping, but I wasn't dilating. I was only a centimeter and a half dilated. So I slept for 2 hours. Actually, I think I slept for 4 hours. And then I went home at 2 p.m. and on the way home I puked. I got home and I took some Benadryl and slept a little, but then I was having contractions again and I couldn't sleep anymore. So I just sucked it up, and then that night I was like, alright Ryan, like just get some sleep because I have a feeling that we're gonna go into labor the next day. So at 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, I went into active labor. I just kept timing my contractions. I wasn't getting any sleep, and man, oh man, they were the most painful thing I've ever felt in my life because I was having back labor and front labor. So I just took like 4 hot showers and like 5 hot baths, and I just like sucked it up. And around 8 a.m. I told him, I was like, I think we're gonna have to go in today. And he was like, alright, we'll just try to wait it out until nighttime because I don't want to get sent home again. So around 10 a.m. I was like, please Ryan, like you really need to call the doctors. Like I can't take it. He's like, you can't suck it up till 12 in the afternoon. I was like, no, like we need to go in now. So we went in and I was 3.5 centimeters dilated. And then she was like, well, you have to be 4 centimeters dilated to get that epidural. And man, I was not happy. I was literally just screaming in pain, and she was like, alright, well, we're gonna wait for the doctor to get here and we can give you morphine this, that, and the other thing, and I did not want morphine, but the doctor that I had that was going to deliver me, which was the male doctor, that's what he prefers people to use. So by the time I was going to get the morphine, I was 4 centimeters dilated, so I had to wait another 45 minutes just for the anesthesiologist to get there. My contractions were horrible, and they were just like, just stay in place, this, that, and the other thing. So like all the classes I took, they didn't even let me use those techniques to go through it, like to cope with my contractions. So honestly, it wasn't even worth it to take them. So then he finally comes, and literally I just sat there, and he like does something in my back, and I was like, ooh, like I felt a shock in my leg. It was the weirdest thing. He's like, oh, I was just hitting a nerve. I was like, okay. So then he just like put me down, and honestly the epidural wasn't bad at all. It was a drip epidural, so like it wasn't like gonna wear off or anything. So then I like finally got sleep once I got the epidural, and I forget what time. I got the epidural around 2 p.m. and then we started pushing around 6 p.m. So I guess I got 4 hours of sleep, and then it only took me 30 minutes to push, and she finally was here at 6:29 p.m. on April 20th on Easter. So she was an Easter baby, and it was the most painful thing of my life, but it was completely worth it. I would never go back. So once she came out, they put her on my stomach, and then they like took her over because she wasn't crying or breathing or anything, and like they're trying to suck like all the stuff out of her nose, and she just couldn't cry. So then they took her out of the room, and Ryan didn't even get to hold her, and I was like, Ryan, go with them. So he went with them, and then they took him out. They kicked him out of the room because they were having complications with her. So it's like, oh man. So then we didn't get to see her till really late that night, but we couldn't even touch her or talk to her because she wanted us to hold her, but like we couldn't touch her because she was like hooked up. I'll try to upload a picture so you can see, but she had oxygen and all that stuff because she swallowed meconium and inhaled blood on the way out, so she had to be in the NICU for a week. But basically that was my labor and delivery story, and it was horrible and painful, and it was the worst thing ever, but everything was completely worth it in the end. So I guess she's about 2 months old now, and yeah, I'll try to get her in one of my videos. She's sleeping right now, but she's basically in the NICU for a week, and she was on 2 different types of antibiotics just to treat like whatever was wrong with her. They treated her as if she had pneumonia, but she didn't have pneumonia, so that was that. But yeah, I was just really happy that she was fine, and we got to take her home, and the first night we took her home, she wouldn't stop crying all night, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is wrong? But then we finally like figured out how to cope with her and everything. So I think I'm gonna do another video with like a 2 months postpartum update, just to let you know like the different things that she's experiencing and the different things I'm experiencing. And yeah, so I just want to thank everyone for watching my videos, and it was nice to look back at my pregnancy updates. I don't know, just to see what I was going through and see like the different changes. Like my face was so chubby, and my nose was huge, and it's funny to look back at them. But like and comment and make other requests for other videos. So thanks for watching.